Hello guys, Mr. Mold here, and I hope all of you are having a happy Friday. I'm all excited because tomorrow is my baby shower, so I'm trying to wrap up work so we can get ready and start looking forward to seeing a lot of you, a lot of our friends and family tomorrow during our baby shower. But before we get to the personal stuff, I wanted to share some information. Speaking of babies, you know, it's so important, and I always say the importance of talking about mold and the correlation there is between mold exposure and having a newborn baby or even an infant in your house. You want to make sure that you look for latent defect or hidden mold. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit about what I'm talking about. I want to make sure that, you know, a lot of times when people are buying a house, they look for different things. They hire a home inspector, and the inspector is going to look for everything that has to do with mechanical, electrical, just everything, HVAC, to make sure that everything is working properly in the house. But a lot of times they don't know really the things that really make a difference in the health and the well-being of the family, which is microbial activity. And some of the times what they do is they paint the house, they do different things, they discolor the mold by throwing bleach, Clorox, and some of those products like Kills to cover up the mold. But I'm going to show you guys an example of what happens when they do that. This is a beautiful house, and I'm going to show you guys inside real quick. Follow me. We're gonna go into the kitchen. As you can see, this is a beautiful house. You would never tell that there's any problems going on here, any microbial activity taking place. You don't see mold present, and you can tell that the house pretty much has a coat, fresh new colors. The wood, everything is intact, and the colors are something that they use to disguise whenever there's mold. People just, you know, paint over it. And I've always given this example. Let's go into this closet that leads to the bottom of the staircase. Follow me for a second. We're gonna go into one of our containments and show you guys some of the things that we look forward to when we're doing a property. Come on in here. Okay, so now we are on the bottom of the staircase. You saw the big spiral staircase going inside the actual, to the second floor. And then we're gonna show you a spot over here. We are now underneath the stairs. Now, this wall right here, guys, is adjacent to the kitchen. You saw that beautiful kitchen that we were looking at. And the example that I always give to my clients is, you know, it doesn't matter, I always give the example of a beautiful old lady. You know, she could be 80 years old, and nowadays with the technology and modern surgery, they can make that old lady look like she's 30 years old. Maybe I'm exaggerating, not 30, 40, whatever the case may be, but they could stretch the skin, they could do a lot of makeup, they could do everything, but the hands never lie. And the elbows, they never lie. So when it comes to mold, it's pretty much the same thing. You could paint over the mold, you could disguise it every way you want to, but something simple, such as the baseboard. Whenever you see that the baseboard is coming apart like this, where you see that the caulking is deficient and it's missing, okay, caulk, and that it has actually separated, you don't even need any tools, guys. I mean, you're buying a house. This is going to be where you're going to live. This is going to be where your family, your kids, your pets are going to reside. All you got to do is, when you see something like this, just grab the baseboard and you're going to pull it back. And let me show you what happens when there is a problem. Voila! Toxic mold stocky botches. So this is something that nobody would have ever had a clue if they just didn't take the time real quick to remove the baseboard and see what's going on inside the wall cavities. Now, again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. What's going on inside the wall cavity is 10 times worse than that. This is just what's materializing on the actual superficial level of the actual wall. Now, did you see? If you notice, I don't know if the light could capture it, do you see that there's a different color here that's taking place along this entire wall here, they try to disguise this or paint over it, so when you look at the wall at a glance, the home inspector is going to see this, the homeowners or the prospect buyers are going to see this, and they're going to say, hey, this is perfect. Okay, let's move on to the next room. Let's move on to the next issue. So there's a water tank here that obviously had a leak at some point. There's discoloration, and these are signs that we all look forward to. And these are the more intricate examples that, you know, us professionals and experts look at when you see a stone like this, like a cross-cut travertine or a marble, where you start to see discoloration in some of the stone, okay? And then you start looking at the other areas. But then when it's too many coincidences, then it's no longer a coincidence. I mean, you got to see the facts and say, wait a minute, too many things going on wrong. There's discoloration of the marble. There's paint that they tried to paint over here on the actual wall. All right, and then all of a sudden the caulk is deteriorated and it's separated. All you got to do is pull this apart, okay, and there you go, black toxic mold. So having said all this, there's different things that we look forward to when we're buying a house, and the most important thing that we need to look forward to is contamination, specifically mold contamination, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to cause harm to you, your family, your kids. And it's going to start off with allergies, watery eyes. You're going to start to sneeze, headaches, constant headaches, and it's going to progress from there on forth. And you never know what's going on. But if you do a thorough investigation, or as I call it, the environmental approach to medicine, you guys will never have that problem. Again, if you want to win the indoor air quality fight, Mr. Mold will purify your air at the speed of light. Mr. Mold, out.